The first thing Marcus Kane noticed about the Vex'tai ambassador was his insufferable smirk. The second thing was how that smirk made his trigger finger itch. So, Ambassador Zylak drawled, his four eyes gleaming with what he probably thought was diplomatic charm. The humans want to negotiate. The word dripped from his mouth like poison. Marcus leaned back in his chair, letting the silence stretch just long enough to make the reptilian bastard squirm. Around the conference table, representatives from 12 different species watched the exchange with barely concealed interest. Some looked nervous. Others looked hungry. "That's what we're here for," Marcus replied, his voice carrying the kind of calm that made smart people take a step back. "Unless you prefer the alternative." Zylak's laugh was like glass breaking. Alternative? What alternative could a species that's been spacefaring for less than 2 centuries possibly offer the Vex'tai Empire? "Oh, you beautiful, arrogant fool," Marcus thought. "You have no idea what you're about to unleash." The human delegation had been clear from the beginning. Earth wanted 3 things: recognition of human territory, fair trade agreements, and most importantly, to be left the hell alone. Simple requests. Reasonable requests. The kind of requests that civilized species should be able to handle without breaking a sweat. But the Vex'tai Empire had other ideas. "Your species," Zylak continued, his voice growing more condescending with each word, "has exactly 17 colonies. We have over 3,000. You have a single star system under full control. We control 47 sectors. Your entire military consists of what, a few hundred ships." Marcus nodded along, his expression never changing. "That's about right." "Then perhaps," Zylak said, leaning forward with that damned smirk widening, "you should reconsider your position. The Vex'tai Empire is prepared to offer you protectorate status. You'll surrender your military assets. Of course. Your colonies will be administered by our governors. Your trade will flow through our channels. And in return, we'll ensure your species survives the coming reorganization of the sector." The silence that followed was deafening. Marcus could practically hear the collective intake of breath from the other species' representatives. The Thraxian delegate's mandibles clicked nervously. The Kortech ambassador's fur was standing on end. Even the usually stoic Zylani looked uncomfortable. "Let me make sure I understand," Marcus said slowly, each word precise and measured. "You're demanding that humanity surrender its sovereignty, disarm completely, and submit to foreign rule. In exchange, you promise not to genocide us." Such crude language, Zylak tutade. "We prefer to think of it as integration." Marcus stood up. The movement was smooth, controlled, but something in his posture made every being in the room tense. "I need to make a call." He stepped away from the table, pulling out a small communication device. The conversation was brief, conducted in hushed tones that somehow managed to carry more menace than shouting would have. When he returned, his smile was the kind that made predators reconsider their life choices. "I've just spoken with Earth Command," Marcus announced. "They asked me to relay a message." Zylak's eyes glittered with triumph. "Ah, your leaders have come to their senses. Excellent. We can begin the integration process immediately." "Not quite," Marcus said, his smile never wavering. The message was actually quite short. Just 4 words, really. The room held its breath. "Go. Fuck. Yourselves. Period." The explosion of outrage from the Vex'tai delegation was immediate and spectacular. Zylak's smirk vanished, replaced by a snarl that revealed far too many teeth. His subordinates leaped to their feet, hands moving to weapons that weren't there thanks to diplomatic protocols. "You dare!" Zylak roared. "You insignificant mammals dare to insult the Vex'tai Empire." Marcus shrugged. "Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just repeating what they told me to say. This is an act of war." Zylak snarled. "Your pathetic species will be crushed. We will glass your worlds. We will hunt down every last human and make them beg for the mercy of extinction." "Wow," Marcus said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. That escalated quickly. Here I thought we were having a peaceful diplomatic discussion. The Thraxian delegate finally found his voice. "Ambassador Kane, surely there's room for negotiation." The Vex'tai Empire is formidable. Perhaps a compromise could be reached. Marcus turned to face the insectoid diplomat. Oh, there's definitely room for negotiation. But it seems like our friends here have already made their choice. He gestured toward the still snarling Vex'tai delegation. They want a war. They're going to get one. You're insane, Zylak hissed. We have 1,000 ships for every one of yours. Our soldiers are bred for war. Our technology is centuries ahead of your primitive systems. What could you possibly hope to accomplish? Marcus walked back to his chair, but didn't sit. Instead, he placed both hands on the table and leaned forward, his eyes never leaving Zylak's face. You know what your problem is, Ambassador? You've spent so long being the biggest bully in the playground that you've forgotten something important. And what's that? There's always a bigger bully. Zylak's laugh was forced now, tinged with uncertainty. Are you suggesting that humanity is somehow superior to the Vex'tai Empire? That's absurd. We've conquered species that were spacefaring when your ancestors were still discovering fire. Oh, I'm not suggesting anything, Marcus said. I'm stating a fact. See, here's the thing about humans. We're not particularly strong. We're not particularly fast. We're not particularly smart compared to some of the species in this room. But we have one trait that seems to be pretty rare in this galaxy, which is... Marcus's smile turned predatory. We're really, really good at killing things. The temperature in the room seemed to drop several degrees. Even the Vex'tai delegation had fallen silent, sensing something dangerous in the human ambassador's tone. You want to know what humanity's been doing for the past 50 years? Marcus continued. While you've been busy playing Empire and conquering primitive species, we've been studying you. All of you. We know your ship designs, your weapon systems, your tactical doctrines. We know your supply lines, your communication protocols, your command structures. Zylak's eyes narrowed. Impossible. Our security is impenetrable. Now, deeply understand script and write visual prompts to generate images for each important scene of script one by one separately. I want a full detailed prompt for each important scene that fits the script. I want 10 images that covers a whole story in sequence. Include visual specifics like lighting, setting, clothing details, and facial details. Note that maintain consistency in all prompts across images by adhering to character traits like age, hairstyle, and attire. Specify if the style is realistic, cartoony, etc., with background elements that match the scene's tone. The projections were not favorable for the Vex'tai Empire. Sweet Jesus, the Thraxian delegate whispered. How many ships do you have? Enough, Marcus said simply. You see, the thing about humans is that we're paranoid. Really, really paranoid. We've been planning for this scenario since the day we first encountered the Vex'tai Empire. Every time one of your ships scanned one of ours, we learned something new. Every time you flexed your military muscles, we took notes. Every time you threatened a smaller species, we remembered. Zylak's hands were clenched into fists. Impossible. Our intelligence services would have detected such a massive buildup. Would they? Marcus asked. Tell me, Ambassador, how many human merchant vessels visit Vex'tai space each year? What does that have to do with anything? Humor me. Zylak's subordinates consulted their data pads. Approximately 8,000 annually. And how many of those ships do you inspect? We conduct random inspections of roughly 10% of all foreign vessels. Marcus nodded. So you inspect about 800 human ships per year, out of 8,000. That's pretty good odds, from our perspective. The implications hung in the air like a toxic cloud. The Zylani ambassador was the first to voice what everyone was thinking. You've been smuggling weapons and intelligence for years. Smuggling is such an ugly word, Marcus said. We prefer to think of it as aggressive logistics. The tactical display updated again, showing the results of the first wave of human attacks. Vex'tai military installations were going dark across multiple sectors. Their vaunted home defense fleet was in full retreat. The mighty Dominion's fist, pride of the Vex'tai Navy, was limping toward the nearest starbase with half its weapon systems offline. This is impossible, Zylak said, his voice cracking. We're the most powerful military force in the galaxy. We've never lost a major engagement. There's a first time for everything, Marcus said. And here's the thing about humans that you should have learned before you threatened us. We don't fight fair. We don't fight honorably. We fight to win. Period. End of story. The communication system buzzed with an incoming message. Priority communication from Vex'tai High Command. The station's AI announced. Zylak lunged through control panel, accepting the transmission. The face that appeared on the screen was scarred and desperate. This is Grand Admiral Vex'tai of the Imperial Navy. Ambassador Zylak, what have you done? I issued the standard ultimatum to the humans, Zylak said, his voice defensive. They refused to accept protectorate status. You fool, Vex'tai roared. They're destroying everything. Our fleets are being annihilated. Our fortress worlds are under siege. Half our colonies are in open revolt because they think we can't protect them anymore. Marcus leaned into the pickup range. Hello, Admiral. Marcus Kane, representing humanity. I don't believe we've been formally introduced. Vex'tai's eyes widened. You're the human behind this madness. Madness? I prefer to think of it as justice. Your ambassador here threatened to genocide my species. Did you really think we were going to just roll over and let that happen? This is war. Vex'tai snarled. Total war. We will mobilize every ship, every soldier, every resource to destroy you. Feel free to try, Marcus said, his voice calm as ice. But I should mention that we've been monitoring your communications for the past hour. Your third fleet just surrendered to our 7th battle group. Your second fleet is trapped in the Arcturus system with no way out. And your first fleet... He paused dramatically. Well, let's just say they're learning what happens when you bring kinetic weapons to a reality scrambler fight. The blood drained from Vex'tai's face. Impossible. Our ships are the finest in the galaxy. Marcus corrected. Past tense. As in, they were the finest in the galaxy, right up until they met something better. The tactical display updated yet again, showing the systematic destruction of Vex'tai military assets across a dozen star systems. The numbers were staggering. In less than 2 hours, the Vex'tai Empire had lost nearly 60% of their total military capability. How? Zylak whispered. How did you build such a fleet without anyone noticing? Marcus smiled. Trade secret. But I'll give you a hint. Remember all those human colony ships that got lost over the years? The ones that never reached their destinations? The ones your people assumed were destroyed by pirates or natural disasters. Understanding dawned in Zylak's eyes. They weren't lost. Bingo. They were building. Hidden shipyards in asteroid belts. Secret research facilities in dead systems. Weapons factories in the void between stars. For 50 years, we've been preparing for this day. The day when some arrogant species decided that humanity was weak enough to push around. Your monsters, Zylak said. Genocidal monsters. Are we? Marcus asked. Let me check the casualty reports. He consulted his datapad. Interesting. According to our fleet commanders, we've destroyed approximately 400 Vex'tai warships so far. But total enemy casualties are listed as... He paused, frowning. 17,000? That seems low. Vex'tai's confusion was evident. Low? You've killed 17,000 of our people. Have we? Marcus looked up from his datapad. Because according to our intelligence, the average Vex'tai warship carries a crew of about 400. 400 ships times 400 crew should equal about 160,000 casualties. But we're only showing 17,000. Why do you think that is? The silence stretched for long moments before the Thraxian delegate spoke up. You're disabling the ships, not destroying them. Very good, Marcus said. Gold star for the insectoid gentleman. Yes, we're disabling enemy vessels and then giving their crews time to evacuate before we finish the job. Turns out our reality scramblers can be set to selective targeting mode. Who knew? But why? Zylak demanded. Why show mercy to your enemies? Marcus's expression grew serious. Because we're not like you. We don't wage war for conquest or glory, or because we enjoy watching other species suffer. We wage war to protect ourselves and our allies. And once the threat is neutralized, we stop. This is your idea of mercy? Vex'tai snarled. You've crippled our entire military. Yes, Marcus said simply. We have. And here's what's going to happen next. You're going to recall all your remaining forces to your home systems. You're going to evacuate all your colonies in human-claimed space. You're going to release every species you've conquered or subjugated. And you're going to stay in your own backyard from now on. And if we refuse? Marcus's smile was colder than the void between stars. Then we'll demonstrate what human weapons can do when we're not being merciful. The tactical display shifted one final time, showing a human dreadnought moving into position near a Vex'tai colony world. The ship was massive, easily 3 times the size of anything the Vex'tai had ever built. Its weapons array was unlike anything anyone in the room had ever seen. What is that? The Cortec ambassador asked. That, Marcus said, is the TGF Reckoning, our newest planetary pacification vessel. It's equipped with something we call a star killer. Care to guess what it does? Nobody answered. Nobody wanted to know. The star killer convinces stellar matter that fusion is optional, Marcus continued. It can make a star go out like a candle in the wind, permanently, along with everything in the system, of course. The implications were staggering. The Zylak ambassador was the first to speak. You're threatening to destroy entire star systems? Oh, we're not threatening anything, Marcus said. We're explaining consequences. The Vex'tai Empire has 2 choices. Option 1 is to accept our terms and live to fight another day. Option 2 is to continue this war and discover exactly how creative humans can get when we're properly motivated. Zylak looked at the screen showing his empire's military being systematically dismantled. He looked at the faces of the other ambassadors, seeing nothing but fear and horror. He looked at Marcus Kane, seeing something far worse than hatred in the human's eyes. He saw pity. You've won, he said finally. The Vex'tai Empire accepts your terms. Smart choice, Marcus said. Admiral Chun, you can stand down the reckoning. Looks like we won't need to redraw any star charts today. As the human fleets began to pull back, the other ambassadors slowly began to find their voices again. The Thraxian delegate was the first to speak. Ambassador Kane, what happens now? What are humanity's intentions regarding the rest of the galaxy? Marcus considered the question carefully. Simple. We want to be left alone. We want to trade freely and peacefully. We want to explore and expand and build our own little corner of the universe. And we want everyone else to do the same. And if they don't, Marcus's smile was sharp as a blade. Then they'll learn the same lesson the Vex'tai Empire just learned. Don't push humans. We don't like being pushed. He gathered his papers and headed for the door. Oh, and Ambassador Zylak, next time someone offers you a peaceful solution to a problem, maybe consider taking it. Just a thought. The door closed behind him with a soft hiss, leaving the remaining delegates in stunned silence. Through the viewport, they could see the human fleet disappearing into hyperspace, leaving behind only the wreckage of what had once been the galaxy's most feared military force. The Cortec ambassador was the first to break the silence. Well, that was educational. Indeed, the Thraxian delegate agreed. I think we all learned something important today. What's that? The Zylak ambassador asked. Never threaten a species that calls itself human. In the depths of space, Marcus Kane was already planning humanity's next move. The galaxy was a big place, full of wonders and dangers. And now everyone knew that humanity was ready for both. The age of human expansion had begun, and it was going to be glorious.